I'm Bob, and I collect stamps.
Welcome back. This is Bob Collects Stamps, and I appear to be Bob. Usually. Sometimes. Anyway, today I thought I'd show you how to soak stamps, at least how I soak stamps. This is the way I was taught. There are probably other ways. You want to soak the stamps off the envelopes to get these stamps off the envelopes. I've got my accumulation box where I throw everything that I am going to need to soak or separate from the envelopes or do other things with. All sorts of stuff gets thrown in here. So, and I haven't sorted it for this video, so I'm going to sort it, and we'll talk about all sorts of things. Who knows? As you can see, I've changed my perspective. This is the other way around on my table. I want to take a few moments to show you what equipment I've got for this operation. First, scissors. You can use any kind of scissors. You just want to use scissors. Don't use your mom's fabric scissors or spouse's or whoever's. Don't use good fabric scissors. These are just paper scissors, at least in our household. I have a empty container. I like clear containers instead of, or plastic or glass instead of metal or ceramic. You can use I've used a cereal bowl, things like that, depending on how many stamps I have. This one is, I bought these to store food in, and it turned out they were too big, so I'm going to use them for this. I've got another one with water. I have, for various reasons, I don't use hot water because it might dissolve some things that you don't want dissolved, like ink. I don't use cold water because it's just cold, and I'm going to put my hands in this. I also have this, which is essentially, I'm using it as a piece of plastic. This is for drips and things like that, because this table is an antique heirloom table, and while I've got a couple of layers of cloth on it, I want to prevent soaking through if I can. If I spill something, that's on me. All right, and this is a drawing book. I've got a couple of different ones. These are Desert Magic drawing books. They're available. I don't know if there are any other brands. I've never found another brand, but I've never really looked. I got these three. This one is 8.5 by 11. Those two are 8.5 by 11. This one is half that size. And you can just use whatever you need to use. You can just put them flat on a flat piece of preferably plastic or wax paper or something like that so they don't stick. But I like using the drawing books. They're relatively inexpensive. I don't know what they cost now. I bought these a long time ago and they were less than $10. They're probably $20 now. But what these have in them is how to soak stamps their way, but if you want written directions. But what you have is some blotter paper, nice thick blotter paper, and in between the blotter paper there are some waxed, plasticized, I'm not sure what, pages. And what you do is essentially, and we'll do it in a couple minutes, is you put the gum side down on the waxed paper and the print side toward up. So when you close the book, the blotter paper is on the print side. That way it is less likely that any remnants of gum will stick to the plastic, and the water will be drawn out by the blotter paper. And what I do in addition is to just closing this book, because I usually put a heavy weight on top. Another book, Scott Catalog, dictionary, whatever you got, a brick, whatever you got, that helps to keep everything flat. This has been well used, and you might be able to see its paper is kind of wavy. That's why I like to put something flat on top. The paper warps a little bit with use, repeated use. And I used I used to use these a lot. I haven't in a few years. And this is actually only a few years worth of accumulation, but actually a few years. But let me take a look at what's there, and I'll go through things. This is just a stamp I just got. This is one of the Bugs Bunny stamps. That's him as a mermaid. I am going to, this is from a Christmas card, and I thank him very much. Thank you, Lee. And I am going to, because, yeah, I like fancy cancels, and it's a Happy Holidays cancel, I'm going to take this off. This is one of the self-adhesive stamps. And so it won't soak off the envelope. So, without special treatment and special things. So, my first stamp to be soaked is not going to get soaked. That's quite simple. I'm just going to trim it very close. Trim it very close. There's Bugs Bunny. And I am going to just put that aside. Ta-da! Who thought we'd start out that way? I didn't. All right, now a couple other things here. I've got some older self-adhesive stamps. I'm just going to put those back over here. I have an envelope that's a special cover. That's the bird envelope. Here I've got one from a dealer. It's philatelic cover, so it's not of special note, except that it's a philatelic cover between two YouTubers. And thanks, Ted. But I'm going to soak this one, so I'm going to trim it with the scissors. And this is my favorite stamp, and Ted didn't know that when he sent me this. And I just trimmed it kind of close. Smithsonian, Scott number 943, a block of 4. Pen canceled, of course, for some reason. No, it's not pen canceled. That's just a line. It's got a ink cancel, just a couple of streaks. You can see that. But it's an ink cancel. It's a cancellation machine. So I'm going to soak it. Just going to pop it down into the water. And that's all there is to soaking stamps, at least to start. And I'm going to trim the rest of these. And I like to trim fairly close if I can. It just saves the weight of the wet paper. These are too close on the stamp, or on the envelope, in order to separate them by scissors, so I'm just going to put them into that. And this, I'm going to put in there because I don't need the envelope anymore. There's another one. Nice little Whitman stamp. And I'm just going to cut this kind of close. It's a self-adhesive too, unfortunately. I think it is, but I'm not sure. I'm going to try it. If it comes off the envelope, it comes off the envelope. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That goes in there too. These are also non-self-adhesives. Another philatelic cover. Philatelic cover is nothing more than a cover put together with stamps that are not necessarily modern ones, but they're meant to be of interest to stamp collectors. This one has some older stamps in it, one from, I think, 76 or thereabouts, the bicentennial, a couple of others from the 60s or 70s, and this one has some Christmas seals on it, and I don't necessarily collect. Well, that one's got tape all over it, so can't use that. But it's got Christmas seals. I don't collect Christmas seals personally, but, you know, I don't not collect anything. So I'm going to cut off the seals. That one's damaged by the post office. I do try when I cut these out, I do try to not get both layers of the envelope. And again, it's just a weight of wet paper thing. You could put them in, just cut them out of the envelope and plop them in. I see we're having some success. And already in our little soak bath here. It has 2 layers, so don't need extra pieces of paper flying around in here. Just put that in there. Dab these, make sure these are going under the water. All right. And those will go in there too. Now all I'm going to do, and you notice I'm not using my tongs. I'm really manipulating these stamps with my fingers. Bad, but my fingers are better than the tongs for me in dealing with wet stamps because I don't trust myself to not rip the wet stamps. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can see what I do on the drawing sheet and how I pull these out. So my face will disappear, which you're probably grateful for. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull, oh, this one just floated off the paper, and so I'm going to put that right there, gum side down, and the piece of paper that floated off can just go in my trash pile. This one too just floated off the paper, so gum side down. And I don't like to put them very close to each other because it allows them to breathe in my perception at least, and it allows air to go around. This one is the Smithsonian one. It's not quite ready. Don't give it a hard tug. If it's not ready to come off the paper, don't make it come off the paper until there's that stamp there and it's paper. Eventually it will come off. I hope. There it goes. Just needed a little bit of encouragement. I'm doing this thing to let any extra glue come off. And then right into my drying book. Again, this is the plasticized or wax side down. I think it's plasticized. And see if these, no, the seals, I think the seals were self-adhesive too. And I think the Walt Whitman is. I know those will just have to wait, but it doesn't hurt them to sit out like this. We also have here, that's a forever stamp. All the forever stamps are self-adhesive, so I'm just going to put that over there for later. A lot of these are current, new, non-philatelic, so I'm just going to put them aside. See what I got here. Yeah, that's all new stamps. Now here's one. Those are old stamps, and it's a philatelic cover, and that's fine. I like philatelic covers. The only problem that I see with philatelic covers is they can get new postmarks on old stamps, and that, for some people, is an irritation. Not for everybody. But these are these are Army issue 3-cent commemoratives, and if you've been following me long enough, you'll know that 3-cent commemoratives are my thing. And this one is another Bugs Bunny stamp. Gosh, I got two. And this one is self-adhesive, so I'm just going to trim it close and put it over there with that other Bugs Bunny stamp. This cover is going to be different. All right, this has some older stamps. And these are Dag Hammarskjöld error stamps. And also and W.C. Fields stamps. If you saw the video on my favorite U.S. stamps, is one of them. And this Dag Hammarskjöld one, they printed the yellow upside down on many of the stamps. But those go into the water. And this other portion is, I wish I could have done it better, but I can't. So this one doesn't go in the water. This is a pre-stamped envelope, a 2-cent Washington pre-stamp. And that's cool. It doesn't need soaking off the envelope. This will need soaking off. This is some Space Shuttle stamps. And a Tiffany lamp. And those can go in water as well. And then I'll check these in the water and see what goes on for those. There's one of the Army stamps already ready for us. Pulled off there. Some more Army stamps over there. Lou Gehrig is not coming off. That's all right. That's a strip of 3 of the Army 3 cents. That will go nicely there in the book. This is why you don't want cold water. This has been sitting out room temperature for a little while, and it's still chilly. But I'll live. All right, that Walt Whitman. You don't really want to do this because it might damage the stamp, but I'm going to risk it. It's a self-adhesive, and what's happened is that the paper has basically dissolved. And I could rub this off in the water gently, rub it off the back. A layer of the paper has stuck to the back of the stamp. Some lint. And I can, if you want to, with a stamp you don't need, like those non-profit stamps you get every 5 minutes in the mail. If you're anything like our household, then you can try this at home. Water doesn't dissolve the paper. It may not dissolve the glue. You can do that to separate the paper from the stamp, the envelope paper from the stamp. That's enough. I got it back inside the margins, so it can go there. The space shuttle has come off. Do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the next page. This is paged out. I'm just going to turn to the next page. But what I'm going to do is take this blotter paper and put it down on the stamps. And you may be able to see that there's water seeping through already. And then I'm going to turn over to another plasticized sheet, and this is a separate piece of blotter paper. This one is next after that first plasticized sheet. This one will allow me to put out those space stamps benefiting mankind, 18 cents. Take this Tiffany stamp very gently off. Yeah, it seems to have been a self-adhesive. And I'll put that down. That's all. That's basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this back up. I'll do some more stamps after I stop filling. But that basically is soaking stamps and putting them into your drawing book. And I will put something heavy on this. I don't know. I'll move it to a safe spot. I need to move it to a safe spot so that it's not a problem, but, so I don't knock it over when I clear the table for dinner, which happened, a year ago. You knew that I was coming back. Thank you for watching. I ask you not to listen to anybody else's rules and to be good to yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of your stamps. Your stamps too. And thank you for watching. This is Bob. This is Bob Collects Stamps, whether we know it or not. Thank you.